Do you see Banana Man hopping over on the white hot sand? Here he come with some for me, freshly taken from banana tree. Banana Man, me want it done. Give me double and a bonus one.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen of the internet? Today I'm doing another one of those Hunger Games simulators things, but this one isn't Gravity Falls characters, it is British celebrities. So, yeah. So first we have Queen Elizabeth II, rest in peace Lizzie, Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, Rupert Grint, Ant McPartlin, Declan Donnelly, Sir Paul McCartney, John Lennon, Ringo Starr and George Harrison, The Beatles, Gordon Ramsay, Stephen Hawking, Rowan Atkinson, Robert Carl, Benedict Cumberbatch, Dame Judi Dench, Sir Ian McKellen, David Tennant, Michael Sheen, Tom Holland, Millie Bobby Brown, Martin Freeman, David Walliams, Boris Johnson, Ed Sheeran, Alexander Armstrong, Richard Osman, Ben Miller, Millie Bobby Brown, Chris Marshall, Rishi Sunak, Ralph Little, Matthew Baton, Simon Farnaby, Jim Howick, Matt Lucas, and to spice it up, KSI. So let's begin. A bloodbath. Alexander Armstrong breaks Rowan Atkinson's nose for a basket of bread. Declan Donnelly clutches a first aid kit and runs away. Daniel Radcliffe finds a bag full of explosives. Ed Sheeran finds a bow, some arrows, and a quiver. David Walliams set Matt Lucas on fire with a Molotov. Oh, that's harsh, especially coming from David Walliams, Matt Lucas. Martin Freeman retrieves a trident from inside the cornucopia. Ant McPartlin retrieves a trident from inside the cornucopia. Ah, trident bros. Michael Sheen spears Simon Farnaby in the abdomen. That's ow. Emma Watson grabs a jar of fishing bait while George Harrison gets fishing gear. Unlikely coupling, but might work. Ben Miller grabs a shield leaning on the cornucopia. Jim Howick runs into the cornucopia and hides. Ringo Starr and Joris Bonson, Boris Johnson fight KSI and Sir Paul McCartney. Ringo Starr and Boris Johnson win. Rupert Grint clutches a first aid kit and runs away. No! Just for context, I've run this a couple times because it kept going wrong. Queen Elizabeth always dies really early on, but Robert Carl kills Queen Elizabeth for her supplies. Come on Lizzie, get your game together. Chris Marshall, Richard Osman and Matthew Baton work together to get as many supplies as possible. Sir Ian McKellen and John Lennon work together to drown Benedict Cumberbatch. David Tennant clutches a first aid kit and runs away. Dame Judi Dench, Tom Holland and Millie Bobby Brown get into a fight. Millie Bobby Brown triumphantly kills them both. No! Dame Judi Dench. Rishi Sunak sets off an explosive, killing Millie Bobby Brown. Well, karma, so I can say. Gordon Ramsay finds Stephen Hawking hiding in the cornucopia and kills him. Nice. Not that, that's a good thing. Just, whatever. Anyway, Ralph Little grabs a sword. Day 1, Millie Bobby Brown sets off explosive, killing Ringo Starr. What? I swear she was dead. I swear Rishi Sunak just killed her a second ago. What the heck? Whatever. Rupert Grint shoots an arrow into Ralph Little's head. Rishi Sunak, Declan Donnelly and George Harrison get into a fight. George Harrison triumphantly kills them both. David Walliams tries to sleep through the entire day. Matthew Baton defeats Boris Johnson in a fight that spares his life. I mean, to be fair, he probably would in a fight. Ben Miller tends to Sir Ian McKellen's wounds. Oh, that's nice. Ant McPartlin questions his sanity. Robert Carl sets off an explosive, killing Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson and Michael Sheen. But Chris Marshall stalks Rowan Atkinson. Ed Sheeran forces Richard Osman to kill Jim Howick or David Tennant. He refuses, so Ed Sheeran kills him instead. Martin Freeman falls into a pit and dies. Alexander Armstrong taints Gordon Ramsay's food, killing him. Ooh, what a way to kill Gordon Ramsay.
Ivan Pink, this raw And Coop has delivered undercooked salmon.
John Lennon injures himself. Night 1, John Lennon strangles Robert Carr after engaging in a fistfight. That's nice. Rupert Grint kills Ed Sheeran with a hatchet. Oh, ginger on ginger violence. Rowan Atkinson and David Tennant huddle for warmth. Boris Johnson destroys Alexander Armstrong's supplies while he is sleeping. Millie Bobby Brown, Chris Marshall, Ben Miller, George Harrison and Sir Ian McKellen sleep in shifts. Ant McPartlin quietly comes. Jim Howick, David Tennant Williams and Matthew Baton cheerfully sing all the songs together. Oh, that's nice. The Fallen, 22 cannon shots can be heard in the distance. Dame Judi Dench, Tom Hollins, Simon Farnaby, Queen Elizabeth II, Matt Lucas, Millie Bobby Brown, KSI, Sir Paul McCartney, Stephen Hawking, Benedict Cumberbatch, Gordon Ramsay, Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, Michael Sheen, Richard Osman, Rishi Sunak, Declan Donnelly, Ringo Starr, Ralph Little, Martin Freeman, Robert Carl, and Ed Sheeran. Whew. David Williams, Rupert Grint and Alexander Armstrong get into a fight. Alexander Armstrong triumphantly kills them both. I swear there's been like three fights where one of them has killed the pair. But Alexander Armstrong, good on you. Chris Marshall kills Jim Howick as he tries to run. Rowan Atkinson practices archery. Ant McPartlin, John Lennon and Matthew Baton get into a fight. Ant McPartlin triumphantly kills them both. It's the 4th time it's happened. David Tennant discovers a river. Ben Miller collects fruit from a tree. Sir Ian McKellen sets Boris Johnson on fire with a Molotov. Oh my days. Millie Bobby Brown and George Harrison split up in search for resources. Millie Bobby Brown attempts to start a fire but is unsuccessful. George Harrison stabs Alexander Armstrong in the back with a trident. Ben Miller tries to sing himself to sleep. Rowan Atkinson and Ant McPartlin tell stories about themselves to each other. Chris Marshall cooks his food before putting his fire out. David Tennant throws a knife into Sir Ian McKellen's head. The Fallen, 8 cannon shots can be heard in the distance. R.I.P. David Williams, Rupert Grint, Boris Johnson, John Lennon, Matthew Baton, Jim Howick, Sir Ian McKellen and Alexander Armstrong. He was doing quite well for himself as well. Day 3. Rowan Atkinson constructs a shack. Ant McPartlin pushes Millie Bobby Brown off a cliff during a knife fight. Ben Miller kills David Tennant with a hatchet. No, David Tennant. Doctor Who. Chris Marshall receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. George Harrison makes a wooden spear. George Harrison is unable to start a fire and sleeps without warmth. Rowan Atkinson, Ben Miller and Chris Marshall sleep in shifts. Ant McPartlin climbs a tree to rest. 2 cannon shots can be heard in the distance. Millie Bobby Brown, David Tennant. Am I going crazy? But she died in the first round, no? I swear Rishi Sunak killed her. The Feast. Rowan Atkinson and Ben Miller fight George Harrison and Chris Marshall. Rowan Atkinson and Ben Miller survive. Ant McPartlin falls into a pit and dies. She was going well for him as well. He had a lot of kills. Day 4. Ben Miller defeats Rowan Atkinson in the fight, but spares his life. Ooh, so that's not the end. Night 4. Okay, who wins? Rowan Atkinson or Ben Miller? Let's see. Rowan Atkinson and Ben Miller hold hands. What? Oh, that's not what I was expecting. Is this like a Katniss Peter situation? 3 cannon shots can be heard in the distance. Ant, George, and Chris. Right, let's find out who's actually won this time. Ben Miller poisoned Rowan Atkinson drink. He drinks it and dies. R.I.P. Rowan Atkinson. Oh, I thought he was going to win this one, boys, but the victory goes to Ben Miller. Well done. Well done. So, Ben Miller with 4 kills. Then Rowan Atkinson with 2. Chris Marshall with 1. George Harrison with 3. Ant with 3. David Tennant with 1. Millie Bobby Brown with 3. Alexander Armstrong with 3. Ian McKellen with 2. Jim Howick with 0. Matthew Baton with 0. John Lennon with 2. Boris Johnson with 2. Rupert Grint with 2. David Williams with 2. Ed Sheeran with 1. Robert Carl with 4. Martin Freeman with 0, Ralph Little with 0, Ringo Starr with 2, Declan Donnelly with 0, Rishi Sunak with 1, Richard Osman with 0, Michael Sheen with 1, Emma Watson with 0, Daniel Radcliffe with 0, Gordon Ramsay with 1, Benedict Cumberbatch with 0, Stephen Hawking with 0, Sir Paul McCartney with 0, KSI with 0. So she did that. Did I put her in twice? I think I put her in twice. Either that or there was a mistake with this. Millie Bobby Brown number 2 with 0 kills, Matt Lucas with 0 kills, Queen Elizabeth II with 0 kills, Simon Farnaby with 0 kills, Tom Holland with 0 kills, Dame Judi Dench with 0 kills. Well, I've just had a thought. How about I run the game 4 more times, and then the champions of those 4 games go head to head in a final Hunger Games? I reckon that would be pretty fun. For this one, I'm just going to show the deaths and any significant or somewhat funny circumstances. So, starting Game 2. Matthew Baton severely slices Dame Judi Dench with a sword. Stephen Hawking severely slices Tom Holland with a sword. There's a lot of severely slicing going on. Michael Sheen sets off an explosive, killing Millie Bobby Brown, Simon Farnaby, Richard Osman and George Harrison. Martin Freeman kills Jim Howick with a hatchet. Daniel Radcliffe falls in a frozen lake and drowns. Boris Johnson sets Sir Paul McCartney on fire with a Molotov. Robert Carr sets off an explosive, killing Chris Marshall. Rupert Grint strangles Ant with a rope. Benedict Cumberbatch repeatedly stabs Rowan Atkinson to death with a scythe. Ralph Little falls into a pit and dies. Sir Ian McKellen kills Alexander Armstrong as he tries to run. John Lennon sets off an explosive, killing Stephen Hawking, Matthew Baton and Ben Miller, our previous victor, dead. Queen Elizabeth II shoots an arrow in Robert Carlyle's head. Emma Watson stabs Benedict Cumberbatch in the back with a trident. Night 1. Gordon Ramsay severely slices Matt Lucas with a sword. Rupert Grint shoots a poisonous blow dart into Ed Sheeran's neck, slowly killing him. Rishi Sunak kills David Tennant with a sickle. John Lennon bashes Deck's head in several times with a rock. That's nice. Ringo Starr, Martin Freeman, Sir Ian McKellen and Rishi Sunak all kill themselves. That's nice. Queen Elizabeth II poisons Gordon Ramsay's drink but mistakes it for her own and dies. Oh, come on Lizzie, you're smarter than that. Boris Johnson bashes David Walliams' head in with a mace. KSI throws a knife into Emma Watson's chest. Gordon Ramsay stabs John Lennon in the back with a trident. Day 3. Rupert Grint taints Boris Johnson's food, killing him. 5. So at this point it's KSI, Rupert Grint and Gordon Ramsay. Rupert Grint sets Gordon Ramsay on fire with a Molotov. Night 5. Feast. KSI falls into a frozen lake and drowns. So that means our winner is Rupert Grint. So, winners so far, Ben Miller and Rupert Grint. Michael Sheen shoots an arrow at Queen Elizabeth II but misses and kills Emma Watson instead. Alexander Armstrong kills KSI as he tries to run. Rupert Grint stabs Chris Marshall while his back is turned. Ed Sheeran steps off his podium too soon and blows up. Benedict Cumberbatch kills Martin Freeman with his own weapon, after all they went through in Sherlock. John Lennon, Rowan Atkinson and Boris Johnson get into a fight. Boris Johnson triumphantly kills them both. Unlikely. Rishi Sunak is unable to convince Ben Miller not to kill him. Tom Holland catches Sir Paul McCartney off guard and kills him. David Walliams shoots an arrow into Antwerp Parkland's head. Jim Howick, Stephen Hawking and Daniel Radcliffe get into a fight. Daniel Radcliffe triumphantly kills them both. Sir Ian McKellen convinces Millie Bobby Brown, of which there is only one this time, to not kill him, only to kill her instead. Gordon Ramsay shoots an arrow into Declan Donnelly's head. So, and both Ant and Dec have had arrows shot into their head. Bro. Ringo Starr overpowers David Tennant, killing him. Ralph Little, Queen Elizabeth II, and Rupert Grint get into a fight. Rupert Grint triumphantly kills them both. If Rupert Grint wins again, Alexander Armstrong shoots an arrow at Matthew Baton but misses, killing Simon Farnaby instead. Robert Carlyle, Ringo Starr, Ben Miller, and Rupert Grint kill themselves. Boris Johnson bashes Michael Sheen's head against a rock several times. Dame Judi Dench shoots a poisonous blow dart into Gordon Ramsay's neck, slowly killing him. Richard Osman shoots an arrow at Tom Holland but misses, killing Boris Johnson instead. Matthew Baton shoots an arrow at Richard Osman but misses and kills Tom Holland instead. Matt Lucas sets off an explosive, killing Benedict Cumberbatch. Sir Ian McKellen, Matt Lucas, and David Walliams get into a fight. Matt Lucas triumphantly kills them both. Alexander Armstrong is unable to convince Matthew Baton not to kill him. Richard Osman snaps George Harrison's neck. Dame Judi Dench stabs Daniel Radcliffe in the back of a trident. Dame Judi Dench falls in a pit and dies. Richard Osman, Matthew Baton, and Matt Lucas get into a fight. Matthew Baton triumphantly kills them both. So I do believe that means Matthew Baton wins. So we've had Ben Stiller, Rupert Grint, and Matthew Baton. Let's see our last two victors. It's time for Game 4. KSI kills Ant. Queen Elizabeth II and Declan Donnelly fight for a bag. Declan Donnelly strangles Queen Elizabeth II with the straps and buns. Martin Freeman sets off an explosive, killing Millie Bobby Brown, Rupert Grint, and Matthew Baton. George Harrison sets off an explosive, killing Daniel Radcliffe, Michael Sheen, Dame Judi Dench, and Jim Howick. Ben Miller finds Stephen Hawking hiding in the cornucopia, but Stephen Hawking kills him. Gordon Ramsay falls into a pit and dies. Rishi Sunak kills himself. Rowan Atkinson shoots a poisonous blow dart into Alexander Armstrong's neck, slowly killing him. Stunt Paul McCartney unknowingly eats toxic berries. George Harrison spears Sir Ian McKellen in the abdomen. Martin Freeman also unknowingly eats toxic berries. David Tennant, Declan Donnelly, David Walliams, and Rowan Atkinson track down and kill Richard Osman. Emma Watson climbs up a tree but falls on Ed Sheeran, killing them both. Silly, silly, silly. Chris Marshall sets off an explosive, killing Benedict Cumberbatch, Ringo Starr, and Boris Johnson. Simon Farnaby sets off an explosive, killing Declan Donnelly, David Walliams, KSI, and Robert Carlyle. Stephen Hawking strangles Ralph Little with a rope. George Harrison kills himself. Simon Farnaby convinces Rowan Atkinson not to kill him, only to kill him instead. I thought Rowan Atkinson was really going to win this one. The Feast. John Lennon strangles Stephen Hawking with a rope. Get a tissue for a medicine. Simon Farnaby shoots an arrow at Tom Holland but misses, killing Chris Marshall instead. John Lennon kills Simon Farnaby for his supplies. And John Lennon bashes Tom Holland's head against a rock several times. So we have our winner for Game 4 is John Lennon. Cool. So we have Ben Miller, we have Rupert Grint, we have whoever won the last game, and we have John Lennon. So we have the 5th and final game. Boris Johnson kills Queen Elizabeth II with a hatchet. Come on, Lizzie! I just want you to win one for once. Simon Farnaby shoots an arrow at Gordon Ramsay but misses and kills David Walliams instead. Ralph Little overpowers Ringo Starr, killing him. Martin Freeman sets Michael Sheen on fire with a Molotov. Rupert Grint steps off his podium too soon and blows up. Sir Ian McKellen sets an explosive off, killing Richard Osman, Matt Lucas, and Ed Sheeran. Rishi Sunak kills Dame Judi Dench with her own weapon. Jim Howick and Millie Bobby Brown fight for a bad. Millie Bobby Brown strangles Jim Howick with a strap and runs. And Hawking shoots her poisonous blow dart into Chris Marshall's neck, slowly killing him. Ben Miller and David Tennant fight Declan Donnelly and Sir Paul McCartney. Declan Donnelly and Sir Paul McCartney survive. Boris Johnson dies first, but Carlisle sets George Harrison on fire with a Molotov. Rishi Sunak kills Tom Holland while he is resting. Simon Farnaby, Ant McPartland, KSI, Emma Watson and Matthew Baton track down and kill Stephen Hawking. Does it really take 5 people to kill a disabled guy? Millie Bobby Brown severely slices Surrey and McKellen with a sword. Gordon Ramsay throws a knife into Rishi Sunak's chest. John Lennon attempts to climb a tree but falls on KSI, killing them both. Millie Bobby Brown, Simon Farnaby and Daniel Radcliffe get into a fight. Millie Bobby Brown triumphantly kills them both. Sir Paul McCartney is unable to convince Alexander Armstrong not to kill him. Declan Donnelly climbs a tree but falls on Martin Freeman, killing them both. Come on, Deck! Ant repeatedly stabs Emma Watson with a stairs. Rowan Atkinson dies trying to escape the arena. Robert Carlyle and Ant McPartland fight Alexander Armstrong and Gordon Ramsay. Robert Carlyle and Ant McPartland survive. Ant McPartland's traps kill Millie Bobby Brown. The Feast. Robert Little and Ant McPartland work together to drown Robert Carlyle. Ant McPartland tracks down and kills Ralph Little. So we have ourselves a winner. It's Ant. Right, so we have our 5 winning contestants. And I also kept Queen Elizabeth II in because I just want her to have a winning chance. So, let's see who is the overall victor. Bloodbath. Ant gathers as much food as he can. Queen Elizabeth II grabs a backpack and retreats. John Lennon runs away with a lighter and some rope. Matthew Baton stays at the cornucopia for resources. Rupert Grint severely injures Ben Miller and puts him out of his misery. Ooh, there goes our first contestant, Ben Miller. Rupert Grint travels to high ground. Ant McPartland, Queen Elizabeth II and John Lennon track down and kill Matthew Baton. There goes our second victor. Queen Elizabeth II and John Lennon fight Rupert Grint and Ant McPartland. Rupert Grint and Ant McPartland survive. They go off 3rd and 4th. 4 cannon shots can be heard in the distance. Ben Miller, Matthew Baton, the Queen, and John Lennon. Come on, Lizzie, why can't you just win one for me? For me. Anyway, I have to pull myself together to finish this game. So, day 2. Rupert Grint collects fruit from a tree and discovers a river and loses sight of where he is, while Rupert Grint is unable to start a fire and sleeps without warmth. Ant kills Rupert Grint while he's resting. There goes our 5th victor. So, the overall winner of the British Celebrity Hunger Games is Ant McPartland. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm gonna go cry about the Queen.